Hi, I want to show you how you can turn your weekly staff newsletter form into an actual document that you can share with your staff each and every week. So here is the demonstration form. I'm going to click the eyeball up here in the top right corner so that I can view the form in order to fill it out, because we never want to actually type into the editable version of the form. And I'm going to start with a greeting. And then I can move on down. This next part looks a little unnecessary, but this is the only way that we can assign what the date is. So I'm going to assign what is Monday's date, what takes place on Monday. And Tuesday, again, I can click on that calendar right there and then click on the date. And if nothing takes place, it's okay to leave the events part of that blank. So now the last step here is asking me to enter next week's date, because depending on how you have your post board set up, if you're giving them the posting board for the following week, you have to know what those numbers are. So I had to look it up real quick. But this is for the following week is what they're going to add their posting board. And then I'm going to click submit. And that's going to automatically go into a spreadsheet. So here's the part that you need to set up, because it needs to be set up by the person who's going to be the owner of the file. So that's why I can't set it up for you. And it's helpful to know in case you ever want to do another mail merge document like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back into the original form, the editable version of the form, and you'll notice that I now have a response. You do have to start with one response. So that's why I went through and entered something, because you can't start with nothing. And you'll notice that your spreadsheet is right over here with the little sheets symbol. The ones that I made for you have already been created, but if this is your first time making a form, you'll click on that and it'll ask you, do you want to make one? Go ahead and click the create and you will get here. So here's all of our information that we just entered. You'll also notice that I have shared with you the template. So this is what it's going to pull from. And on my template, you're going to notice inside these little double carets, some of the categories or the column headers that were formed on your spreadsheet here. So every one of those questions, and actually I'm going to take you back for a second here to show you the questions. Notice that I put M date, and then I asked you, what is Monday's date? M date becomes one of your column headers. And then Monday is what events take place on Monday. So I kept my column headers very simple because it makes my life easier when I'm putting into a template. And ask the question just in that question description. But each of these is now a tag within here. So you have your greeting, you have the Monday date through the Friday date, and then each day of the week, it's pulling that information that you entered. And then there's additional at the end in case you had anything on this next to last question that says additional. Is there anything else you wanted to say? And then this next part I entered for each of your buildings says, please fill out your posting board information on the next page. And then this next page has a list of your staff. These are obviously both staff members, but it's got all of their name. And then it's pulling that information that you entered here on the next week. It's going to put in whatever you entered was next week. And then the teacher will have the ability to type in what their content is, what the strategy is, what date they plan on doing it, and the time, so they can type it right into that document. So in order to get all of the magic to happen, we're going to go back into the spreadsheet. We're going to go to add-ons. Now, if you don't already have Autocrat, you're going to need to go to Get Add-ons. And Autocrat is one of the most common ones, so you might actually find it at the top. If you don't find it, of course, you can search for it as well. But you'll notice mine has already been installed. But all you have to do is click on it, and then it's going to ask if you're ready to install. So let me click on a different one just for an example of what it'll look like. And all you have to do is click that blue install button. Of course, we're not doing this add-on we are working with Autocrat, but you can see mine's already been installed, so I don't have to do that again. And once it's been installed, then you'll have it in your add-ons. So I'm going to go next to Autocrat, and I'm going to go ahead and launch it. And it's going to right away ask me to give this job a name that's purely for you. So if you have multiple jobs running, you have multiple documents that are created from this, I would make sure to name it something that's memorable. But this is just for me, and this is the only one I plan to do with this spreadsheet. So I'm giving it a name, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Now you need to find the templates. So if it's not one of your recently used ones because you haven't used it yet, go ahead in your drive. And if it's not one of the most recent ones, you can search for it. This is it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, and I can double check the title of it right here. I'm going to click on it and choose Select. And it's fetching the tag. So it's looking for all those double carets to see what they are compared to what my column headers are. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Next. Make sure that the merge tab is going to that response sheet. So if you do end up adding additional tabs to it, make sure it's pulling from here. And then it's pulling all of these. So if you get any errors, it's just because something got changed in the way that it looks on the column header. So sometimes there's an extra space, or I might have put M dash date instead of M space date. So if there is something wrong whenever you make your own sometime, you do have the ability to assign what this tag refers to in case you do make mistakes, because I make a lot of mistakes with that. If you end up eventually playing with this Autocrat on your own, you will notice you have some other choices. So this is how I can pull in an image that's submitted, hyperlinks, checkboxes, all of that stuff. There are a lot of options with Autocrat, but with what we're using, we're just going to go ahead and click Next. The file name, I'm going to use, I want my file to be named what this date is, because I'm going to keep making these every single week, and I don't want them just to become a big wash of newsletters. So if you look over here, these are all the tags that you have currently that you can use. So I'm going to put the M date through, so there's that little dash, the F date. So I'm going to, sorry, when you click on it, it copies it, and then I'm going to click in here and I'm going to Control V to paste it, or you can right click to paste it. But you notice I was clicking Control V. I'm sorry that I wasn't saying that out loud. And now whenever the file is created, it's going to be named demo weekly staff newsletter, and then the date range that newsletter is for. The type you're going to want for this specific purpose, you're going to want Google Docs. Now, there might be another time you create this that you want it to make a PDF. So when we do behavior referrals, we do a PDF. But because you're going to have staff edit it, you need it to be a Google Doc. And then you're going to keep it on multiple output mode. You want, for every time you enter the form, you want it to make a brand new newsletter with just that information. That's what that means. Go ahead and click Next. You can assign it a folder to go to. I recommend that so that they don't all just go into your main drive. So right now I just have a district folder that this spreadsheet lives in, so the default is to put it there. I would leave this part empty right now because they've changed the way Drive works, and this is a little buggy right here. Merge condition is if you only want it to fill out on a specific condition. Right now, we don't have any conditions, so we're going to leave that alone. But if you later want to make your own mail merge documents and you're not sure what this means, I can help you with that. You do, however, want to make it a little bit easier on yourself and have it share the document to you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Yes. You're going to share it as an editable doc. I wouldn't worry about these right now because They don't really apply to what we're doing, but you do have some choices there. Again, the easiest way is to send it just to yourself at this point. I would give it, the subject is completely up to you. If you're afraid of searching through your email and if you're afraid of not being able to find the exact newsletter you're looking for, even though it's going to be in your drive, which is really the better place to search for it, you can leave this. You can create this the same way you created the file name, with pasting through. You paste the same thing, just change it to F. All right. And then if you need to give yourself any reminders of what you should do after this, so you fill out the form, and then if you're afraid that you're going to forget, you can go ahead and type yourself a message to remember what to do. So after you create the document, you're going to need to go in and change share settings to a guy can edit. And this way your staff members can actually type into their form or do what they need to do on their end of it. Then post to full classroom. If you want, you can schedule Friday to go out Monday morning, or you can schedule it to go out Friday at 2 or Friday at 3 so that people can prepare for the weekend. You would know your staff better. Some people, I know some teachers that really appreciate having the next week's agenda on Friday because they want to mentally prepare for the next week. And I know some people that don't even want to receive anything and they'd rather start their week on Monday and look at it. You will know your staff better, or yourself. So I'll leave that at that. And it's purely a message for you to remember what on earth you're supposed to do after that. You do want it to run on a form trigger, though. So this is going to give you a notification right away. So you have to enable those triggers. So go ahead and click yes. And now, every time you submit that form, it's going to automatically create this document and send it to you. We're going to go ahead and save. And now that it's ready to run, you can go ahead and try that first try that you did. Normally, when you submit the form, it'll automatically email you, but since this is our very first job, we're going to have to click this little play button to run the job. You won't have to do this every time, but since we just created the job, we'll need to run it this time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to do all of its magic. I'm going to hop over here to my email to show you. And while that's loading, actually, I want to close this so you can see. At the very end, you can see that it was successful. So if you do misplace where the document is and you have no idea what's going on, or maybe for some reason there's an error that throws to you, you can see that all at the end of the spreadsheet. But this is the link to the document that was automatically created. I'll show you how it looks like in my email. Here's my email to myself, email to me. Here's my little reminder of what on earth I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to go in and open up this document. And you'll notice that it's got my greeting message of welcome back from winter break. It's got the staff meeting that I entered, all these dates that I entered, the messages, assembly, and then that was that additional comments that I had of long weekend ahead because I'm just making things out. Then that default down here, and then the bottom stays the same. The only new thing that it added, is the dates for the following week. You'll notice that my title of the document was that Monday date through the Friday date. So this is all good to go. If there's something that I forgot to enter, I can still type it in. and that's fine. Now, the sharing setting is huge because right now it's only private to me. I'm the only person who can see it. So even if I share that link, people can't edit that document. So even if you post it on Google Classroom, all of your teachers are your students. So you're not giving them editing privileges just by sharing it with them. So you need to go up here, click share, and change the link to Buckeye Local School District. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now I need Buckeye Local School District to be an editor. Now we're good to go. So now we click done. Now we can hop into our classroom. We can find our, we can find our classroom with all of our students. Go to classwork. I do recommend that you do it through classwork and not just through your stream because your stream's going to get lost. Keeping in classwork means that people always know where they can find that newsletter. So if they do lose it within the week and they want to remember what that important date was that you said, they know where to find it. Since you're not, I would avoid assigning it because you have people in your classroom that aren't necessarily going to complete this, and it just gets messy if you do an assignment. So I think it's easier to create a material, give it a name. I strongly recommend that you name it based off of the date range that it's for. So again, as you're adding more of these, they don't get lost in the shuffle, or people don't have to click on it to know which newsletter it's for. You're going to click on add from your Google Drive. It should be one of the first things since it was the most recent document you were in. Go ahead and insert. You'll notice that this is the correct date range. If you want to give a description, you're welcome to. Over here on topic, I do recommend that you, if you don't already have a topic for this, make one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create topic. You want an emoji for yours. If you're on a Windows device, you can click on the Windows key and then hit period to get to your emojis. I'm going to type in news to find a newspaper. There's a newspaper. Hold up newspaper. Now, if you're prepared for next week and you want to send it out, like I said, let's say you want to send yours out on Friday at 2, and you're afraid that you're going to forget at Friday at 2, you have the ability to schedule this post. So next to the word post is a little drop down arrow. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this to be released on Friday. And like I said, we'll pick 2 o'clock p.m. And then I can go ahead and schedule it. So if at this time, if before Friday I need to add anything else, if something else comes up and I'm like, oh, I forgot we're going to have a fire drill on Thursday, you can still go back into that document and you can still add additional information. In fact, even after you do share it, you can still add additional information. That's kind of the glory of the way that this is getting set up. You'll notice you can see it as the teacher, but the staff won't see it until it posts live on January 29th at 2 p.m. There is one more thing that I want to show you just to kind of put this all together. So we started with our form, and like I said, you will need to do it from the preview. So here is that preview. If you're afraid of accidentally always clicking on that form and then starting to type right into it, I recommend that you go ahead and bookmark this. If it's something you're going to use every single week, bookmark it. So at the end of that view form address is the little star. Click on it. And then if you haven't yet, again, I recommend that you make a folder for forms or a folder for your building or something so that your bookmark bar isn't getting overwhelmed, because I know right now mine is. So I have one for VLSD, and you can change the name if you want to, but it just needs to be something that you can recognize. So you can go ahead and click on done. And now the next time I need to go fill out that form, I can go up to my bookmark folder and I can go to weekly staff newsletter. Once you fill out the form, though, you don't really need to keep going back into your spreadsheet because it's going to automatically email you. So the only time you need to be in your spreadsheet is if there's some kind of an error. So I'm going to go ahead and type one quickly. Now I've entered all of the information from my form. I'm going to go ahead and click on submit. And I can hop back into my email. It does take a minute for all of the magic to happen. And there's my new newsletter. So I can go ahead and click on this, go in and share, change the edit sharing. So I can click on my document. And double check that it entered it the way that I wanted to. Okay. Nothing else I needed to add, so I can change share, change to Buckeye, edit, done, and then I'm ready to post it to my classroom or schedule it to post to the classroom. So again, I hope this was helpful, but if you have any problems with it at all, please reach out to me and I'm happy to walk through it with you on Zoom or on the phone, whatever works best for you. So let me know. Thanks.